You've seen it before. A man walks into a room. He's not loud, not flashy, maybe he doesn't even say much, but somehow every woman notices him. And you wonder, what's he doing differently? Here's the truth most people miss. The men who create the strongest attraction don't force it. They build tension, quietly, effortlessly. It's not about looks or money. It's about energy, control, timing. They know how to trigger curiosity and desire without even touching her. And no, this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the way attraction really works at a psychological level. In this video, you'll learn 6 subtle but powerful ways confident men create xual tension with a woman without being obvious or inappropriate. These are techniques rooted in calmness, discipline, and presence. They're effective, respectful, and once you learn them, you'll see the difference instantly. If you've ever felt like you were doing too much, saying too much, or trying too hard, this is the missing piece. Stay locked in, because what you're about to hear can shift the way you show up in every interaction going forward. Let's get into it. The power of delayed eye contact. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't immediately lock eyes the second a woman walks into the room. It's subtle, but powerful. When most guys notice someone attractive, their first instinct is to look quickly and directly, almost as if they're afraid the moment will pass. But here's what most people don't realize. Instant attention communicates availability. Delayed attention, that signals value. Now, I'm not talking about playing games or pretending not to notice. I'm talking about presence with restraint. You see, when you deliberately delay eye contact, even for just a second or two, you're sending a silent message. I don't chase, I observe, I choose. That pause creates curiosity. She wonders, does he see me? Why isn't he reacting like everyone else? And just like that, the dynamic has shifted. You've created space for tension to build before a single word is spoken. Humans are wired to seek validation, especially in social situations. When someone attractive doesn't immediately give that validation, it disrupts the expected pattern, and that disruption creates intrigue. In other words, when you hold back, even slightly, you become more interesting. Think of eye contact like music. Too much sound becomes noise. But strategic silence between the notes, that's what creates rhythm, mood, and suspense. That's what delayed eye contact does. It adds a beat of suspense to your presence. And here's the key. It's not about ignoring. It's about intentional timing. You notice her. You know she notices you. But you don't give her the full moment right away. You might glance past, hold your ground, or stay focused on something else for a beat longer. Then when the time feels right, you meet her gaze, calmly, briefly, then you look away. That moment of delayed attention, it carries weight. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." It whispers, "I see you and I'm not in a rush." This kind of behavior signals something powerful, emotional self-control. It shows you're not impulsive, you're not scanning the room for approval, you're grounded in yourself, and that's rare. Women pick up on this instantly, even if it's subconscious. Your calm energy says, "I don't need anything from you. I'm not reacting, I'm choosing. I'm not moved by surface impressions." And that right there is magnetic, because most people react to attraction. You, on the other hand, respond with stillness, and that stillness gives her room to lean in. Here's how to make it feel authentic. Stay focused on your environment or purpose. Don't scan for eye contact. Let it happen naturally. Then hold off just a little longer than usual before you return it. When you do make eye contact, keep it soft and steady. No need to stare intensely. A subtle, calm glance is more powerful than an aggressive one. Look away first. This isn't about dominance, it's about balance. Looking away on your terms shows control and confidence. And remember, body language is part of the equation too. A relaxed posture, composed facial expression, and unhurried movements all reinforce the tension you're building. It's not just about looking calm, it's about being calm. Imagine this, you're at a social event. You notice her across the room, elegant, poised, and aware of the attention she's getting. She expects the same quick glances from everyone. But not from you. You keep talking with your friend, focused, relaxed. She notices that and she notices you. Then you glance her way. Not long, not needy, just a calm, fleeting look. You hold it for a second, and then you look away. You've said nothing, but she already feels something. That's the power of deliberate presence. Building attraction isn't always about what you do. Sometimes it's about what you withhold. When you delay eye contact with quiet confidence, you create room for energy to rise, for curiosity to spark, and for the game to begin, without ever making the first move. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about where you look, it's about what you say without saying anything, speaking slowly and purposefully. Let's be honest, most people speak too quickly. They rush their words, fill silence with nervous chatter, and try to impress with speed. But the most attractive men, the ones who radiate calm authority, do the opposite. They speak slowly, with intention, and with presence. Now, this might seem small, but it creates massive impact. When you speak slowly, you're sending a message. Without even realizing it, I'm in no rush. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm not here to perform, I'm here to connect. This subtle pacing instantly shifts the energy in the room. And here's why. Speed often signals nervousness. It tells the other person, I'm not sure I'll be heard unless I hurry. But when you speak slowly, you demonstrate internal control. It creates contrast. In a world full of noise, fast talkers, and constant stimulation, a man who slows down, he becomes magnetic. People lean in. They want to hear what you have to say, especially women. Why? Because a slow, calm voice feels grounded. It doesn't seek attention, it commands it. Speaking slowly shows confidence, without needing to say you're confident. It tells her, you think before you speak. You're not easily shaken. You trust your presence, not just your words. This is one of the most underrated forms of attraction because most people don't realize how much your voice communicates beyond the actual words. Think about it like this. If your words are the message, your pace is the emotional tone. It tells her how to feel when she listens to you. Are you rushed and anxious, or are you calm, in control, and quietly powerful? The right pacing creates tension, the kind that lingers between words, the kind that makes silence feel intimate. Instead of awkward, that's where the real connection starts. You don't have to sound robotic or overly slow. That's not the goal. The key is to speak with awareness and control. Here's how to do it naturally. Pause before you answer. Let her words land before you respond. A short pause builds anticipation and shows you're truly listening. Remove filler words. Words like you know, or like dilute your power. Cut them out by slowing your pace. Use silence intentionally. Don't rush to fill every gap. Let moments breathe. Silence, when used correctly, is a form of intimacy. Breathe from your diaphragm. This keeps your tone deep, steady, and relaxed. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything about how you're perceived. Let's say you're in a one-on-one conversation. You're both seated. There's background noise, but in this moment, you have her full attention. She asks you a question. Maybe it's something playful. Maybe it's personal. Most guys would jump in with a quick reply, trying to be clever, impressive or funny, but you pause. You smile just slightly. You hold the silence for a beat longer than usual. Then you answer slowly, deliberately, not because you're unsure, but because you're present. That moment of stillness, that calm delivery, it makes her feel something most conversations don't: safety, curiosity, and intrigue. And she begins to associate those feelings with you. Here's what most people forget. Women often experience the world in a whirlwind of fast energy, social pressure, constant attention, loud conversations, quick judgments. But when a man slows things down, not just physically but emotionally, he becomes a break in the pattern, a moment of clarity, a breath of fresh air. She doesn't consciously say, "He speaks slowly. That must mean he's confident." Instead, she just feels different around you. She feels calm, grounded, and intrigued. That's the magic. Speed is noise, slowness is power, and the man who controls the pace of the interaction controls the energy of the room. So the next time you speak to a woman, don't try to impress her with volume, speed, or cleverness. Impress her with silence, with intention, with a voice that's unhurried and undeniable. Because the most attractive things in life don't rush. They arrive fully present and calmly certain. And that's exactly what your voice should feel like. Coming up next, there's another layer to this that goes even deeper. It's not just what you say or how you say it, it's how you use space to make her feel drawn in without ever making a move. Stay with me. Mastering proximity without pressure. Let's talk about something most men get wrong without realizing it. Physical proximity. How close you stand, how often you enter. Her space and how naturally you do it can make or break the tension you're trying to build. Most guys either do too much too soon, leaning in too closely, getting touchy without consent, or they avoid closeness altogether, afraid to make her uncomfortable. But the real art lies somewhere in between, in the subtle dance of getting close without pressure. You see, personal space is sacred, especially for women who constantly navigate unwanted attention. So when you, as a man, respect that space, but also know how to gradually shift the distance without forcing it, you create safety with tension. And here's the surprise. The absence of pressure is what creates attraction. Because she feels like she's choosing to let you in, not being pushed. That's the key. A stoic man doesn't chase closeness. He allows it to build, moment by moment. He doesn't crowd her. He doesn't hover. He simply becomes present in a way that says, "I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm not chasing anything." This quiet energy invites her to move closer if she wants to. And that choice, that freedom, is what makes the moment powerful. Imagine this. You're sitting across from a woman at a quiet cafe. The conversation is flowing. Now you lean forward, not aggressively, not to invade, but just slightly. Your forearm rests on the table. You're engaged but relaxed, she notices. Her energy shifts. Maybe she leans in too, maybe not. You don't push, you don't comment. You don't chase that reaction. You just stay grounded, letting the moment build. And when the timing feels right, you sit back slowly, letting the silence settle in. That small dance, forward, engaged, then back to neutral, builds unspoken tension. It says, "I'm drawn in, but I'm not desperate. I'm available, but I'm not trying too hard." That kind of balance, it's irresistible. Here are 4 subtle tactics that play into this dynamic without ever crossing a line. Match her energy first. If she's leaning in or relaxing near you, mirror that comfort. Don't jump the gun. Let her set the tone. Close the gap slowly. Don't rush physical proximity. Shift your position gradually during conversation, an inch at a time naturally. Let your body language stay open. Avoid crossing your arms or leaning away. Use relaxed posture with slight forward motion to express engagement. Withdraw strategically. Sometimes stepping back just a little after a moment of closeness can heighten the tension. It gives space for her to move toward you if she chooses. This isn't manipulation. It's awareness. It's knowing how to read the moment, how to create an invitation, not a demand. When you master proximity without pressure, she feels safe, seen, intrigued, because your energy is confident, not controlling, grounded, not aggressive. She's not thinking he's trying to get close. She's thinking, why does it feel so easy to be near him? That ease is what builds real tension, because it's rare. Most people force energy, force closeness, or try to dominate space, but you do none of that. You own your space and share it when the moment is right. Proximity is not about moving in fast. It's about knowing when to hold space and when to let tension fill it. That balance is everything. So next time you're around someone you're attracted to, don't rush into her space. Don't avoid it either. Let it build. Because when closeness feels like her choice, it creates something no line, no compliment, and no fancy trick ever could. Genuine magnetic connection. Up next, there's a way to flirt without even flirting, through subtle challenges that spike her curiosity and make her see you differently. Let's get into the power of playful detachment, where tension rises without a single compliment. The brush past technique. Let's talk about one of the most underrated, most misunderstood forms of communication between a man and a woman. The casual, intentional touch. Now, before you think this is about being bold or overly forward, stop. This is not about being aggressive. It's about subtlety, timing, and respect. When done right, a simple, light touch in the right moment can create more electricity than an entire evening of compliments. Welcome to the power of the brush past technique. It's that moment when you gently make contact, barely noticeable, while moving past her or handing something over. It's not a grab. It's not suggestive. It's a whisper, not a shout. Think fingertips brushing hers as you hand over a coffee, a light touch to her shoulder as you walk by in a crowded room. The briefest contact on the small of her back as you let her pass through a door first, and then it's gone. No explanation, no emphasis, just part of the moment. But that moment, it lingers because it speaks to something deeper. Physical connection that feels effortless, not forced. Human beings crave touch, but they also protect it, especially women who are constantly filtering out unwanted advances. That's why the brush past works so well. It's not a statement, it's a question. It's an energy check, a test, a spark. When done with confidence and calm, it says, I'm present, I'm tuned in, I'm not afraid of connection, but I also don't need it. And here's the surprise. It's the lightest touches that carry the most weight because they don't scream for attention. They let the moment hang. They create space for the mind to wander, to question, to feel. Now let's be clear, respect is everything. The brush past is not about sneaky touching. It's not about breaking boundaries. It's about sensing when there's already chemistry and allowing that chemistry a brief physical expression. If she hasn't shown any comfort or interest, don't force this. This technique only works when the energy is mutual, the setting is natural, and your intent is calm, not calculated. Done incorrectly, it'll feel invasive. Done right, it's barely noticed, but deeply felt. Timing is key. Here are 3 ideal situations where the brush past feels natural. Passing through a tight space. Lightly guiding her past with a touch on the elbow or back as she moves through a doorway. Handing something over. Letting your fingers briefly touch hers when you pass her a drink. Phone or anything small, making a point in conversation, a soft tap on the arm or shoulder when laughing, or emphasizing something, just a beat, then pull back. The magic is in not lingering. Touch, then retreat, because that pull back is what builds the tension. It makes her wonder, was that on purpose? That curiosity is what triggers the deeper attraction. Here's what really happens. You plant the idea of physical connection without ever having to talk about it. It's not overt. It's not demanding. It's just enough to suggest this could be more, and that suggestion, it's more powerful than any pickup line or scripted move because it lets her feel something without having to process it logically. Touch is primal. But in today's world, the key isn't being bold, it's being in tune. The brush past. Technique isn't about permission to touch. It's about energy exchange. It's subtle, it's momentary, it's respectful. And it works best when you don't chase the moment. You let it happen naturally, because in that single second of contact, you create a ripple, a spark, a question. And sometimes, that question is all it takes to build the kind of tension that speaks louder than words ever could. The power of strategic silence. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. We live in a world where everyone's rushing to fill the silence. But the truly magnetic man, he knows that silence is where real tension is born. Let's talk about strategic silence and how playboys, gentlemen, and high-value men use it to stir curiosity, command respect, and build irresistible attraction. Here's the twist. Most men talk too much when they're nervous. They try to impress, convince, or entertain with words. But women, they're not just listening to what you say. They're watching how comfortable you are not saying anything, and that's where silence becomes powerful. When you pause, when you don't rush to fill every gap, you send a message. I'm in control. I'm not desperate for your attention. I'm at ease, whether you respond or not. That calm, quiet confidence, it pulls her in. It forces her to wonder, what's he thinking? And that wondering creates emotional engagement. Psychologists have found that people associate calm, deliberate speech with authority and confidence. And when a man uses silence, especially in emotionally charged or flirty situations, it signals that he's grounded, present, intentional. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about letting the moment breathe. Think of silence like seasoning. Too little, and the dish feels bland. Too much, and it overwhelms. But just the right amount, it brings out the flavor. Here are 3 key ways to apply it in everyday conversation. After she says something personal, when she opens up about her day, her thoughts, or even a deep story, don't rush to comment. Instead, take a beat. Let her words settle. Nod. Hold eye contact. This shows emotional maturity and gives the moment depth. Right. After a compliment, say something like, "You look stunning tonight." Then pause. Smile slightly. Look at her, not for validation, but with presence. Don't follow it with a joke or backtrack. Let the tension hang. You're showing that you mean it and that you're not afraid of her reaction. Before you respond, when she asks a deep or flirty question, pause for just a second. Think, hold her gaze, then speak slowly and clearly. It shows control and makes your answer feel more deliberate, more powerful. Here's what happens when you use silence strategically. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability creates tension. She starts leaning in, wondering, guessing. That guessing is the spark of emotional investment. And when someone's investing mentally, they start investing emotionally too. Words are cheap. Presence is rare. A man who can sit comfortably in silence shows strength, not weakness, because it takes real confidence to hold space without rushing to fill it. The next time you're with her, try it. Say less, pause more. Let her lean into the silence. You'll be amazed what it builds. Calm detachment after chemistry. Let's set the scene. You've built tension, the eye contact, the playful banter, the subtle touch. It's electric. She's intrigued. There's a spark, and then you step back, not because you're playing games, but because you understand one powerful truth. Intensity without pause becomes predictable, and predictable kills mystery. This is where most men mess it up. Once the chemistry hits, they cling, they double down. They rush the moment, afraid it might slip away. But the high-value man, the stoic one, steps back right at the peak. Why? Because he's not controlled by the moment. He leads it. He understands that space after connection doesn't weaken the spark. It intensifies it. When you detach with calm, it doesn't signal disinterest. It signals self-control, depth, confidence. Here's what happens in her mind. When a man connects deeply and then gracefully detaches, he creates a void. And nature abhors a vacuum. She starts wondering, did I say something wrong? Was he not that into me? Is he just different from other guys? And that wondering, that's emotional tension. It makes her replay the interaction. It turns a single moment into a mental loop she can't shake off. This idea is deeply Stoic. As the Stoic thinker Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And what lies beyond your control? Her response, her attention, her approval. So the Stoic man doesn't chase desire. He watches it. He lets it rise, and then calmly steps back. Here's how to apply this without looking cold or manipulative. End the conversation. First, when you feel the vibe is peaking, smile, lock eyes, then say, I have to run now. But this was fun. Leave her wanting more, not because you're playing a role, but because you have things to do, a mission to stay on. Don't text right after. Let her feel the absence. Give her room to wonder. Let the interaction echo. If you respond too quickly, it sends the message, I needed this, I couldn't wait. But calm detachment says, I enjoyed the moment, and I'm good whether we talk again or not. Focus back on purpose. This isn't about faking distance. It's about actually returning to your goals, your growth, your vision. That energy, it's magnetic. A man who's busy chasing purpose never needs to chase validation. Here's what calm detachment does. It flips the dynamic. Instead of her feeling pursued, she starts to pursue clarity, connection, you, and that's where real attraction is born. Not from neediness, but from controlled, purposeful presence. Attraction is like fire. If you smother it, too much attention, too much intensity, it dies. But if you give it oxygen, if you step back at the right moment, it burns hotter. That's what Stoic attraction is all about. Control your emotions, control your energy, and you'll control the frame. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. You don't need to be loud, flashy, or rich to build real sexual tension. What really matters is being deliberate, calm, and aware of the energy you create. From delaying eye contact to using light, respectful touches, from mastering the power of silence to stepping back with calm detachment. These are the subtle moves that build genuine attraction effortlessly. Remember, it's not about chasing or performing. It's about controlling the dynamic and letting tension grow naturally. If you found this video valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more powerful Stoic psychology strategies coming your way. And hey, drop in the comments if you've ever felt that kind of tension without a single word being spoken. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.